So they told us from the beginning that this was going to be the biggest update that ever has come to Diablo Immortal. And a lot of us really didn't believe that statement because it's a strong statement considering we got a brand new class that no other Diablo has ever seen before. Well, they were right. This is by far the biggest update that I've ever seen in any mobile game, let alone Diablo Immortal. I'm going to have to cover this in several different videos because there's that much content in this update, and I'm going to cover all of it between today and tomorrow. That way we're all on the same page going into the massive update going live on Thursday, which will have tons of videos covering the actual patch or the actual update when it comes out. But first, let's get into all of these patch notes. Let's get straight to it, guys. So, like I said, we're going to break this down to multiple different videos because there was just entirely too much content. It's insane how much content went into this. So obviously this is beautiful. Look at all the different pets here. Love it. So we're going to, obviously the update will come out on the 13th for those servers and then the 14th for everyone else. We're going to cover the campaigns first because by far this is the biggest part of the entire update. So new Mystic Companions Familiars. We've been hearing about them a lot. Now we get to see them. This is one of the pets and they're blowing fire, which is pretty sick. Not going to lie. So the Dawn of Familiars, we're going to skip all the lore, but players can bring up to 6 familiars with them in combat, making the best use of them through primary or active attacks and secondary, which is passive, slots. The familiar equipped in your primary slot will have all of their skills and abilities active to influence gameplay, while the familiars in secondary slots only affect gameplay through their secondary skills, which are the passive ones. Players will be able to purchase additional secondary slots for gold in the familiar tab. All right, so we can carry up to 6 different familiars. That's insane. That's literally insane. We'll have 1 active, but we'll get the secondary stats in the secondary slots, basically was what they called it, for the other 5, which is pretty awesome. Familiar skills and utility. Each familiar has an active skill which triggers in combat automatically. Passive skills, attributes, and traits that boost their own abilities and yours. Active skills are the primary skills for each familiar, while passive skills improve the stats of the familiar. Traits help boost your various player stats such as movement speed or critical strike chance and have great utility use. Again, that is the traits. All right, so attributes determine the familiar's power and improve these values to improve their potency. A familiar level 1 familiar, wow, I read that literally 4 different ways, only has its active skill unlocked, with all 6 passive skills unlocked once the familiar reaches level 30. Familiars have traits, which again are what help boost various stats such as movement speed and critical strike, which can improve things such as critical strike, hit chance, and movement speed when not actively equipped as the active skills. Okay. Passive skills strengthen the familiar itself, while traits improve your stats, including the familiar's traits. Okay. Traits become available once a familiar has reached level 30, which is max level, and divide into 2 categories. Ignore that common word. So common and advanced. Common traits only apply to the familiar they appear on, and advanced traits stack between your currently selected familiar and bonded familiars. A familiar can have a total of 6 traits. Whew. These are very complex. We're going to have to break this down a lot. Maybe why it's its own video. Familiars can have 4 different attributes which determine the potency of their passive skills: ferocity, agility, insight, and resilience. Okay. Ordinary and aberrant familiars. Okay. I don't see. Maybe this is the ordinary, and these are the aberrant. Not sure. I don't see that word used anywhere on this screenshot. Familiar quality. Yeah, that must be it. Okay, so level, yeah, okay. Maybe? I don't know. So familiars have 2 separate variants, ordinary and aberrant. Aberrant? Ordinary familiars are most common. They can be found easily and contain the valuable skills available to aid in combat and beyond. By comparison, aberrant familiars carry stronger skills, and only aberrant familiars can achieve the most advanced growth stage of physical maturity. It's like high school all over again. For more information on how to obtain an aberrant familiar, read familiar conversions. Okay. Familiar acquisition. So this is how you obtain your familiars. Familiars can be acquired in a few ways, mainly through a summoning contract or through purchasing a tamed familiar. Keep that in mind. To acquire a summoning contract, talk to Niza, the witch in Westmarch, and purchase one with gold. Summoning contracts can also be obtained as an event reward, a battle pass reward, or as a regular drop for killing monsters in Sanctuary. They are literally making it so much more tempting to farm. A summoning contract has an equal chance of producing each kind of familiar. All the different, the 8 different ones that we're getting. Okay, got it. Not the type in terms of common or aberrant, but the actual different types of familiars. Understood. Each kind of familiar has a certain active abilities they favor. So choosing specific familiars may best suit your playstyle. Okay. You can see with Nisa's in this contract, will bond you with one familiar. Go to the Devil's Deeds. So you don't even, it's not even click to use. It's, oh, you can have up to 1,000. Wow. I wonder what the drop rate is. That's what I'm like. That's the type of detail I'm curious about, is the actual drop rate of this stuff. All right. Additionally, familiars can be purchased at the Tamed Familiar shop at level 30. Familiars can also be obtained from shop bundles, the marketplace, the Boon of Plenty, Ayo, and through event rewards. Purchasing a familiar guarantees what type of familiar you receive and whether they are ordinary or aberrant. Aberrant familiars can also be traded at Winton's market with passive and active skills fully unlocked on purchase and varying number of common and advanced traits. Aberrant familiars can also be obtained through conversion. For more details, read our section on conversion. Okay, so if you don't know what this market is, this is the market. This is the market that we're all used to. So that is the market. What's it called? Auction house, essentially. Now, this is a different shop, Tamed Familiar shop. So that means there will be another way for us to obtain, not just via player v player, but player versus environment. It seems that we can actually purchase these familiars. I'm going to assume that it will cost platinum on both shops, both the player like auction house market or the actual Tamed Familiar shop. I could be wrong, but it seems like either. So I mean, in theory, then you could just buy one from this and then sell it on the auction house, which I don't know. I mean, again, they're explaining different ways of getting it. They're not going into detail. It's just the patch notes. I understand that. We're gonna have to cover that pretty quickly because that could be abused really easily. Like not abused in a bad way, but like you could flip the market is what I'm saying. Like you could really kind of use this as an opportunity to flip the market or control the market and gain a ton of platinum or lose a ton of platinum. So be interesting to see how that plays out. But these are all the different ways that we can obtain them. Now, let's talk about quality. So familiar quality. Familiars have 4 different quality levels: common, magic, rare, and legendary. All right. Each rarity of familiar indicates the level and strength of passive traits the familiar possesses. Makes sense. The more rare the familiar, the stronger it is. Go figure. Ordinary familiars can be common, magic, rare. Oh, I see. Okay, so ordinary familiars can be common, magic, or rare, whereas aberrant familiars can be all 4 rarity types, which means the only legendary familiar you will see is the aberrant one. Understood. Got it. Summoning table. Once you obtained a summoned contract, use the summoning table in Niza's shop to summon your familiar. Using the summoning table assigns the kind of familiar, unique active skills, and passive skills, which are assigned but not yet available, as well as attributes and stats. If you purchase a level 30 familiar at Nisa's shop, the outcomes are a little different. The familiar type is already assigned upon purchase, as is the unique active skill, attributes, and stats. Traits are assigned immediately as the purchased familiar is already level 30. So remember, you don't get everything up front. At level 1, and that's basically what it's saying at this part right here, when you first summon a familiar with the contract, it will be level 1. You have to level it up. Don't know how to level it up yet, which we'll cover it looks like in the next section. But they only get their active skill. But it's saying that if you purchase a level 30 familiar, not only will you get the active skill, but you get to see everything. Now, my only question there is, will we be able to see everything? Like, will it be locked? You can still see it, so you know which familiar you want to level up. I hope that's the case. Otherwise, that does turn into a situation where you're going to want to level up all your familiars to get them to max level to figure out what their traits are and their abilities, both passive and otherwise. So yeah, that'll be interesting to see which one it is. Either way, I mean, this is pretty obvious how it's going to work. It's just the detail is what I'm curious about. Again, I'm curious what the price is going to be between the two different types of familiars, either level 1 or level 30. Leveling familiars. Your familiar receives a new skill every 5 levels until they have all 6 skills at level 30. Familiars can be empowered by providing them spirit essence. So that's how you level them up, which drop from elite monsters, chest, or is available in shop bundles. Okay, so you'll be able to literally buy a full level 30, it sounds like, from shop bundles, and then be able to turn and flip it for platinum. All right, I'm gonna flip the full screen for this. So if you understand mobile games and how markets work, there will be a very, very, very high demand for max level familiars. I am a content creator. I'm going to do my best to provide as much content as I can on all the different types of familiars. However, if you are a small, medium spender, or whatever it is, or even a whale, I would strongly suggest that you consider the bundles in order to get your familiars to max level, and then look at how much they can sell for, especially on day 1, because whales especially are going to want to gain as much power as possible, because this does translate into power in PvP, as well as the Rite of Exile and all the other things in the game. So there is going to be a massive rush to get as many strong familiars as you can. So if you were someone who were considering to purchase things in the game, if you can power up a familiar to max level with bundle equipment for these spirit essences, do so on day 1 and then sell them. And then level them up on your own at your own pace by farming or whatever if you're not into PvP, and that will net you so much more platinum, which you can then use to either buy additional familiars or the new legendary gems, which we'll talk about later. This is a massive opportunity for the market. I want to bring strong attention to this because I feel like a lot of people don't realize this when it comes to mobile games or just anything that involves an economy or a market. It's all just supply and demand. The demand is going to be very, very high, and the supply will be very, very low on day 1. So maximize it. Moving on. There you go. There's my economic debrief for the day. Familiar melding. What in tarnation is this? Melding provides a way to increase the power of your familiar by taking 2 familiars and melding them together, basically merging. Melding allows you to select or transfer specific passive skills onto your preferred familiar. Melding 2 level 30 familiars will produce a familiar with improved passive skills and allow you to select the 6 passive skills of your choice from the 2 melded familiars. This also has a chance to produce a familiar with rare passive skills, even if both familiars in the melding process possess none. So basically it's saying that if you were to meld 2 level 30s, it's going to net you the highest opportunity for the best passive skills possible. I really want to know what the passive skills are, because that's going to really dictate like just how much I care. You know, you can see the rarity here of these passive skills too. There's one rare one, or what were the common, magic, rare, and legendary. So I'm assuming rare is gold. This is magic. Yeah, it's just like the gear levels. So this has 1 rare, and everything else is magic. Okay. Oh, speaking of the devils. All right, melding allows you to transfer preferred. Okay, so we just talked about this. This is how, if you level, these are different traits. So if these are both level 30, you can then pick and choose what you want, which is pretty interesting. You can see here that you can select which one you want to keep, it looks like. And then these are the eligible skills that you can get. And you can also use suggested skills, which is awesome. And then let me give us one example. You cannot be knocked back and move unhinged for 0.5 seconds following your familiar's active skills. Wow. Okay, so these passive or active skills are going to be pretty sick. Ooh. And then you can see that the rare one has the better stats. So agility was higher on this one, but everything else is much higher on this one. This is why they kept that. Okay, so pretty cool. This makes a lot of sense. It's a lot of detail. Like there's a lot to unpack in familiars, which is really exciting. And it just helps like the longevity of the game. So I'm actually really excited about this. All right, we are not even done. We are 15, almost 14 minutes in this. All right. So when merging familiars of the same type, now we're using the word merging. Don't do this. You're confusing my little brain. If the familiar that is discarded has attributes higher than the kept familiar, the melded familiar will receive a +1 bonus to that attribute. Okay. I think I understand. Melding is also available for merging 2 different kinds of familiars. This produces a familiar with different or better passive skills. You can select which kind of familiar you would like to keep alongside the preferred passive skills. For detailed drop rate chances for melding familiars, different drop chances are available to view in game. All right, so continue melding. You can see the stats. Okay. Active skill, passive skills, attributes, trait. Interesting. Familiar conversion. Good God, there's so much to familiars. This is so much content, and we're only on the first thing. We're only talking about familiars. There's so much more in this. This is literally crazy. I'm so hyped. If you're hyped, make sure you smash that like button. I combined the word subscribe and like. I'm overwhelmed. Subscribe, because we are bringing all the content to you guys. I love Diablo Immortal, and I love the community that we're fostering here together. If you want to be a part of it, make sure you subscribe, because I love you guys. Don't make it weird. Now, moving on. Familiar conversion. Familiar conversions provides access, I can't read, to a new familiar and a chance at obtaining an aberrant familiar. It's so confusing. So many different words. Familiar conversions provides to a new familiar and a chance of obtaining. So if you do all, okay, so I see this is a rare. These are 2 magic familiars, and then they have a chance of, oh, that's a lot of platinum. But they have a chance of obtaining the aberrant one, which could be legendary. Oh, use 2 conversion stones, guarantees legendary skills. Fuck. All right, so you can convert familiars of all the same type, or select 3 different familiars to convert. Converting your familiars generates new traits and can sometimes create an aberrant familiar. You have 3 aberrant familiar. All right, once you have 3 aberrant familiars for conversion and some spare platinum, 2,000, good lord, you can convert 3 aberrant familiars for a chance at an aberrant familiar with legendary traits. Okay. It's very pay to win, straight up. So that's the legendary trait. Legendary trait. Legendary passive skill. Yeah. Okay, got it. Conversion does not guarantee your converted familiar will remain at its specific rarity. Oh, tell me it can't get lower. However, if you want your converted familiar to remain as a legendary, you can use a conversion stone. Familiar stones, is it a conversion stone or familiar stone? Can be obtained either through ending packs with the familiars in your inventory or purchasing in the shop bundles. A lot of bundles coming. Conversion does not guarantee a more powerful familiar. However, the use of a conversion stone allows you to lock in or improve the rarity of the familiar you are using to convert. So basically, you never want to do a conversion unless you have one of these stones, because there's a chance you could end up sacrificing 3 familiars and getting a worse one. Good lord. So don't make that mistake. Holy cow. Moving on. All right, conversions does not get. All right, we talked about conversion. Okay, wait. Blah, 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 blah. New familiar. So we talked about the other 5 already. So these are the remaining 3. This is the dragon one. It looks freaking sick. Winged Damnation Brood Talon. Brood? Is that supposed to be blood? Brood? Whatever. And then Quake's Stride. Also looks sick. Not gonna lie. Oh, this one looks cool too. Storm Lost. Almost like a scary ghost. Very cool. Okay, so that's going to do it for today's video, guys. This is so much information. I've literally read this twice, and I feel like I've gained additional knowledge every time I read it. Make sure you guys read this in high detail. Like I said, there's a lot to unpack here. Familiars are very, very complex, which again, I don't think is a bad thing. I think it's good because it allows us to really min-max our overall character. But yeah, definitely sounds like a lot of it will be purchasable. Can't say I'm surprised. It's fine, but it does sound like everything is also obtainable via the grind. So I love that. So it's not just pay to win, it's sort of pay to rush, which I know I'm going to get roasted for comparing the difference. That's what it makes sense to me. You don't have to agree with me, but that's just how I explain it. So that way it makes sense to my little brain. But anyway, guys, I am super excited about familiars. If you want to see the rest of the update notes, make sure you subscribe to the channel because like I said, I'll be bringing all of those literally between today and tomorrow. Until next time, lock it in.